Ms. Gallagher?
With me, I think it started at home. You can hear the best role models are the ones you sit across the table from at dinner time. Well, mine was my mom. Mom was one of 11 children. She was the only one in her family that got to graduate from high school. And she had to go to relatives in, I think, Hopewell, West Virginia, in order to get that diploma. But Mom was always intelligent, but didn't have the educational opportunities that we had. And she instilled upon us that you get that education, you do as much as you can with what you've got. She made sure we did homework. We had chores around the house, but we had to get that homework. And she encouraged it, and it started with that. And I can remember with my I'm the 5th out of 6, and my oldest sister, she would come home from school in elementary with her books, and I'd open her books and say, "What is this?" And she would teach me how to read. So by the time I got to the 1st grade, I was reading on 3rd grade level because I had learned from her. And Miss Palmer Turner, she realized that I was more advanced than what a normal 1st grader would be, and she would give me other stuff to do so that I didn't sit there bored. And believe it or not, in 1st grade, she actually had me tutoring one of the kids that now would be considered handicapped. I mean, it really was. But those are the kind of experiences I had from the beginning. And some of the teachers we had, the 1st grade teacher and Ms. Hurd, the 3rd grade teacher, they were some of the classiest people that I ever went out to meet. And I wanted to be like them, just from their knowledge, the way they conducted themselves, the way they cared about the students, and that's what inspired me to keep going, keep learning, and be all that I could be.
Well, my teacher said you could be anything that you want to be. A nurse is what I always wanted to be. But during those times, there was anywhere I had to go away to be, and we had 9 kids in that family, and we couldn't afford it. So I did work, and I became an aide at the hospital. Then I asked somebody, "Can I go into the operating room and become a scrub instrumental nurse?" And she said, "Yeah, but you won't make it." But I did it. 25 years, I passed instruments for some of the biggest surgical doctors in and I'm proud of it. I am proud of myself for doing it. Because she told me you can't, and I was going to show her I could, and I was headstrong, and I took it, and I said I can, and I'm going to get it, and I did, and I'm proud of myself. I had early retirement, but I would probably still be there now because I loved it. And I'm proud of what the teachers instilled in me to say what I could do, yes.
Well, I go ahead, and I know I wasn't a student here, but as a coach, I followed principle what my father taught me. My daddy worked 4 or 5 jobs, and we went to college and never had even coming up free books or free lunch. But he taught me something that was great that I could carry on to Clifton Forge. We used to have to shine flows the old way with Amico gas, hardwood flows, and Johnson wax till we got a buffer that you could take and push. And then we got the electric buffer. And old Dad smoked a cigar, and he was tough as anybody I ever known. And he would run the buffer with one hand. So I was about 5 or 6, and he put me on that buffer and told me to use one hand. Well, that buffer's and the cord wrapped around my neck. He said, "Son, you know one thing? This is a precious world." I said, "I want you to let you know, if you can run this buffer with one hand, you always know you got a second you beat anybody." I carried this thing on to Clifton Forge with endurance. And it taught me endurance and to persevere. Some of you that play basketball, you know sometimes we break down an old bus, we had old ragged bus. We get to a game maybe at 1 o'clock to play, and we're like rows on wall. Right, you know?
Yeah.
And we had to get out and sometimes push it a little bit. Some mechanic would come. And so I found out in life, I don't care what you got, whether you rich or poor, you can burn out. You can burn out too much money, and you can burn out nothing. The greatest thing you can have is self-worth.
Yes.
That's what I got out of coming in at Clifton Forge.
I was always amazed that we even got on the bus.
You remember the
We were gonna break down.
Yes, sir. We would pray, we would Lady Baker. Lady Baker would start the prayer, we would pray. And I said, Lord have mercy, we can make it up this hill. And you remember? Huh? You remember? What mountain we went to?
We had to go across the mountain.
They straightened the road out.
Whenever we would take, whenever we, leave from the school, we'd be saying our goodbyes and knowing that we were going to break down on North Mountain. So everybody was ready. Raymond Hyde and BB used to follow the bus, and then somebody would go back to let people know
But
that the bus was going to break, that the bus had broken down. It was on one of those really winding curves. Thank God there was not a lot of traffic during that time. But we would sit and wait and we look at
And then go and
watch
beat the
the
people
what
with
time.
it. Be tired, y'all still going
Go
with
ahead, and we need that too.
But we were glad when the bus started up again. Because they didn't bring us a new bus now. They would actually fix the bus. Do you recall that? They would fix the bus. Somebody, a mechanic would have to come and fix it.
Our teachers insisted on you doing the best you could do. But one of the biggest things that I remember was when I got in high school, Mr. Ewell was the principal, and when students misbehaved, they were sent to the principal's office. And of course, on a few occasions, I was wrongfully accused and sent to the principal's office. And my punishment was, Mr. Ewell made me read philosophy. And he made me read Shakespeare. And he insisted on excellence. And that, apart from my teachers loving me all through my school career, was what made me feel that I would do whatever I had to do, especially academically. I didn't know you were supposed to enjoy reading philosophy and Shakespeare, and I did.
Mrs. Mansfield?
My teachers instilled in me to learn, and I have to give my credit to my mother and daddy. My mother insisted that we do for ourselves. We take care of ourselves. And I heard my sister Jeanette say she didn't have a summer job. I was 15. I put my age up to 16. And I went to the CNO hospital and got a job.
Yes, you did.
And right now, I'm still a year old, according to what I did. But anyway, I had a summer job because I wanted to work and I wanted to have something of my own. And I did. And right now, I have never, like my mother used to say, there's no such word as can.
It's can.
And I have always wanted to do for myself, do for my family. And that's one thing I've done, and I'm still trying to do it. If I get something in my mind I want to do, I'm going to do it. And I owe that to God. I really owe it to the Lord.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up, if you have questions you would like to ask the panelists. Then after that, we'll go next door.
Cafeteria, following the bus. Can you speak a little bit about the neighborhood that actually housed the teachers? The Beverleys, the Duvals, the Calendar. Can you all speak to a little bit about that? Teachers that actually lived in homes,
They
in
did.
the neighborhood homes, and how they were treated and how they were,
Miss Julia Anderson housed many teachers. She was our first grade teacher, right beside the First Baptist Church. It was in Sandy Mansfield. It seemed like the teachers got along with whoever they roomed with. And as far as all those people were really good people, that took them in and housed them. So what I know about was they were good people.
And the teachers had to go to church.
Excuse me, if you might remember, I came here about 175 pounds, 180, and I stayed with Miss Jackson. And man, had so much food in my whole life. And then the next time I stayed with Miss Mansfield. And they were just so great to me, you know. It was just like, I don't know, back that time, I hate to say, but a teacher was a beautiful thing in the community. And like I say, that I could walk through the community, somebody give me a cake and all, you know, just home type thing. Like I say, because I visit homes, I just stay with the people. That's how you learn, you know, and so how did they treat us? I mean, I can tell you it's different. It was different when I went back to Ronald.
And a lot of it was important. They realized that the teachers, how much they helped their kids, and they gave back. But not only that, I don't know what they made, but I don't think the teachers could have afforded an apartment or to buy a house or something and not knowing how long their tenure would be here. And you just didn't do that. So the community reached out and did what they could to help the teachers.
How much was your salary when you came to Clifton?
If I'm correct, it might have been $2,500 and $350 for coaching 3 sports.
$2,800.
Yeah, somewhere about that.
And
then
we
like I
got
said,
good teachers like him. We wanted to keep him, so.
Yeah, but like I say,
That was across the street from me, so Mr.
I
Jackson.
had some perks that was unbelievable.
Well, Coach Chubb, I'm gonna ask you that, teachers, I know they doubled, you know, when they came to coaching, because we used to have Coach Stevens, but he was also our biology teacher.
Oh, everything.
But
I taught all
doubled
sciences,
in.
chemistry.
Right.
I had, oh gosh.
So you weren't paid extra for doing?
Nothing, number $350. And teaching all everything, all the sciences, chemistry class, biology, and science, everything. You were all purpose. I'm telling you, you were all purpose. You know? And the thing was a challenge because we had some smart students. You see what happened. See, the basic institution, they were good because number one was the home.
Yes, it was.
The second thing I keep telling people over and over, that was the beautiful thing about it was the community.
Yeah.
Everybody could connect in the community. And the third thing, let's face it, you know, you had the community, and then you had church. You see, why my distance was so good, I had to go to church 3 times a day on Sunday. If I didn't go to church, the boy's sick, he can't play the rest of the week. See, it was part of it. Man, so the thing that I'm saying was so good, when you mentioned that, this just something that we've lost. And I tell you what, if we don't go back to the basics, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. Morals, values, and ethics are just shot. They come out every day.
If we can fast forward a little bit, I'm one of those that went through integration. I went through the 9th grade at Jefferson and finished at Clifton Forge High. Clifton Forge integrated the school system a year, I think, before the federal ruling. And to give kudos to the entire community, both black and white, we didn't have any problem. There were a few diehard racists on both sides, but it's like the community came together and said, we're going to make this work. And it's a testament to what the teachings we have learned. They had us so scared that we wouldn't be able to compete with the high school students. But we were very well accepted with the fellow students. We found out that in spite of not having the best, most up-to-date books and that kind of thing, but the teaching was just as good as what was being taught.
Amen. Amen.
And so we blended in.
The best.
We survived. We succeeded. Yeah.
But, you know, we also had teachers, we had junior and senior proms, and it required that we order kits to decorate. And the teachers were sponsors of the classes and of the proms, and so they would pitch in and they would help us to, you know, to decorate it, you know, the prom. It made it a very memorable occasion for us. And I also recall that we had teachers that were from Clifton Forge that came back to Clifton Forge to teach. And those teachers, well, I'm going to give you one, for example, was Miss Louise Mansfield. And I mean, she actually took us under her wing, and to let us know what this world was like out there and what you had to do. And I had the greatest respect for her because she always wanted to keep us aligned with what she thought our capabilities were. And I really appreciated that, from her. We also had teachers to come here and never leave. Made it their home. I'm thinking about Miss Lois Morris, and she was, you always heard a kind word from her, something of encouragement, even when we were grown and came back. I would see her in the store sometimes, and she would always, tell me where I said, now don't work here. But I'll help you to find it. But she just thought, and she would laugh, but she would make you laugh, And they taught us, the important words that actually build a character of a person, integrity, And I think that that's what they instilled in us. And I'm appreciative. And Coach Chubb, I have to say, I was appreciative for you for the times that you made me run up and down the court playing basketball, because I
appreciate the fact that I was never on the wrong end, Miss Old Faithful. I never got Old Faithful.
Yeah, he started Old Faithful with hitting us on the bottom of our feet. Do you remember that?
Sure. You know what? The interesting thing about it, my wife and daughter, every time you turn around, they be modeling the house and doing stuff. And so the guy came in today with some furniture and he said, Mr. Chubb, man, I heard about you from a long time. And so in Roanoke, I had a paddle called Shaft. And I had one of the most beautiful offices as a principal you wanted to see. But the thing about it, every person that see me now, they'll come up and say, Mr. Chubb, do you remember that paddle? I said, let me tell you one thing. I said, if I went wrong, I apologize to you now. Not a one of them. You know what I said? I wish I had gotten more. I've never been in the trouble I've been in. See, rules are made out of love. I don't care what I don't care. Rules are made out of love. And what happened? Children haven't changed. They're basically born and conceived the same way. Dumb as we have changed. You see? And we got all this because we didn't want to get along with everybody. That's what the rules say. You can't touch mine because you did something.
That's right. That's right.
Amen. See, the children are running us now. And so it's sad. And we don't go back to the basics. Trust me, we're not going to make it. So you're right. But I asked them all, I said, okay, if I was wrong, I apologize to you. No, man, don't you dare say that. Don't you dare. Because I know. Now, you just don't go in with nobody and just be cruel. But all this stuff we call ourselves integrating. Children got by, they get by with murder. I get so now that I go places and you scared even blow your car on this thing. That's right. They control. You're controlled. And because we lost something on a bunch of fools, we all got to die. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mrs. Mansfield.
You were talking about the teachers boarding and home. We had married couples to board in the homes too.
Yes,
and then I wanted to tell you how Principal Mr. Hill, he lived in the home economics building upstairs, and he had the use of the kitchen. He and his wife lived up there. I don't know whether, I remember Mr. Hill living in there. But there were married couples that stayed with the people in their homes too. And I wondered, right now you wonder about that because I don't know, some of the wives didn't work. So I wondered what they did, and they didn't teach.
I remember a husband and wife teacher that stayed with the calendar at the calendar's home place on Church Street with Miss Hazel. When Miss Hazel was in the home place, it was a married couple that stayed there. And then the Duvalls on the corner, they always Claire Duval.
I don't remember the
They
couple
had
that stayed there.
teachers there. Yeah.
I know Mr. and Ms. Long stayed with Miss Judy Anderson, but that was way back, in the 40s. Yeah.
I have something.
Yes,
to say. I grew up on Main Street, and back then, everyone knows Main Street was a popular street.
Yeah.
And people would come up to me then and they say, "How you remember all of that stuff?" I said, "Well, I grew up on Main Street." And speaking about teachers that stayed in the home, Miss Thelma Jackson, I can go all the way back when the Herds came and they lived with her. That's where Lois Morse stayed.
That's right.
Lois Morse came to Clifton, and like Jeanette said, she never left. She couldn't even boil water. She couldn't boil water, she couldn't cook. Miss Thelma Jackson taught her everything. Okay, they also had Anderson stayed there, and Mr. Chubbs, I think you remember Coach Joe Williams?
Yeah, he was before me.
He stayed with Miss Thelma Jackson. And I would be at Miss Thelma's house almost every day. I was a little tot. But it was a number of teachers that lived there with Miss Thelma. And what she would do, she had 3 bedrooms. She had one, but she rented out the other 2. And the Herds, they came with 1 child, but when they left, they had 3. And I think they lived with Miss Jackson for about maybe 3 years until they moved over on Church Street.
How about the Knox?
The Knox lived up the hill from me,
Okay.
but it was a lot of teachers on Main Street.
And Melba Holmes.
She lived with Miss, I think she lived with Miss Fanning. Yes.
There are other questions?
It
Comments?
takes a community to raise a
A
child.
village.
Yeah, in our case, it was a community.
Actually, it was the village concept that we had to raise us, because, I think it happened, as you said, when y'all were coming up, that if you did something, it got to your parents.
Everybody
You were
was your mama.
disciplined for that.
Everybody was your daddy.
Yeah, everybody.
Because my kids were in school, they would come on and say the teacher did something to them. And I would interrogate them, "What did you do?" "Nothing." I said, "What did you do?" And I finally got the truth, they had done something. See, I didn't let them get out to put it all on the teacher there. Yeah, you do something, yeah.
So Ms. Davis, Ms. Callender, Mrs. Hughes, Mr. Chubb, Mr. and Mrs. Mansfield, please join me in thanking these individuals for coming out.